The year is 2025. In a parallel universe, Kamala Harris has made history, becoming the first female president of the United States after a nail-biting 2024 election. Her win sparked both hope and chaos, as the United States began a critical transformation. But not everyone in this world believed they belonged in it. For a few individuals, whispers of another reality haunted their every step. One where she didn't win, and the future took a far darker turn. Chapter 1. The Crossing. In Washington, D.C., the inauguration of President Harris was nothing short of historic. Her address called for unity, a greener planet, and a digital renaissance that promised to revolutionize the workforce. Yet, miles away in an underground lab in Colorado, a physicist named Dr. Isaac Hale hunched over his desk, trembling. Isaac wasn't from this world, or so he claimed. Months ago, during an experiment with quantum resonance, something inexplicable had happened. He had seen two realities split apart, one where Kamala Harris lost to a populist rival, and another where she won. Isaac woke up in the latter, and though the world was brighter, he couldn't shake the memory of the darker timeline. Dr. Hale? A soft voice interrupted his thoughts. It was Emilia, a young research assistant with piercing green eyes. She placed a thick folder on his desk. We found another anomaly. Isaac opened the folder. Inside were surveillance photos from New York City. A woman standing in Times Square, staring at the billboards. Her expression was one of complete disorientation. The timestamp matched the moment Isaac's quantum device had overloaded. She's one of them. She's from the other side. Are you sure? If I'm right, she knows what happens if Harris hadn't won. And I need to know. Chapter 2. The Divergence. The woman from the photos was found days later. Her name was Lila Monroe, a former campaign worker for the 2024 election. She sat across from Isaac in the lab, her hands clutching a cup of tea. I woke up here 6 months ago. Everything's better. But I can't stop thinking about what I left behind. What did you leave behind? A nightmare. In the other world, Harris didn't win. Her opponent cut environmental regulations and increased military spending. The world began collapsing. Food shortages, riots, civil unrest, it all spiraled. Isaac leaned closer. And now, it feels like someone gave the world a second chance. But why us? Why do we remember the other side? Chapter 3. The President's Burden. In the White House, President Kamala Harris was beginning to sense that her presidency was not as straightforward as it seemed. Her advisors reported strange events, citizens appearing with no records, whispering of another reality. The media dismissed it as conspiracy theories, but Harris couldn't ignore the patterns. One night, as she prepared her State of the Union address, she received an unmarked letter. The message was simple. You were chosen for this world. In another, you lost, and the consequences were catastrophic. Be the leader we need. Her hands trembled as she stared at the letter. Was it a hoax or something more? Chapter 5. The Convergence. Isaac and Lila tracked down others like them, people who remembered the darker timeline. They began to piece together a theory. The parallel universes weren't entirely separate. A thread connected them, and something, or someone, had intervened to shift the course of history. Their investigation led them to the White House. Disguised as reporters, they attended a public quanda with President Harris. During the session, Isaac managed to catch her attention with a cryptic question. Madam President, do you believe in second chances, even for entire worlds? Harris froze, her composed expression faltering for a split second. Later that night, she summoned Isaac and Lila to a private meeting. Chapter 5. The Truth Unveiled. In the Oval Office, Harris listened as Isaac and Lila explained the parallel realities. She was skeptical at first, but when they described the details of her opponent's policies and the collapse that followed, something clicked. Harris said she always felt that this presidency was more than just politics. It felt destined. Isaac asked if she thought someone, or something, chose her for this timeline. Harris didn't answer immediately. Instead, she led them to a secure room deep in the White House. There, she showed them a device unlike anything they'd ever seen, a glowing orb emitting a low hum. Harris revealed that the orb appeared in her office the night she won. It was as if it was guiding her. Isaac's jaw dropped. He recognized it as quantum tech beyond anything they'd developed. It could be the bridge between worlds. Chapter 6. The Choice. The orb revealed a startling truth. The universes were unstable. If Harris failed in her mission to lead with integrity and inspire unity, the darker timeline could bleed into this one. Isaac, Lila, and Harris formed an unlikely alliance. Together, they worked to solidify this world's brighter future, accelerating environmental reforms, promoting global cooperation, and creating policies that empowered the disenfranchised. But shadows from the other world loomed. A faction of individuals who remembered the darker timeline began to rise, determined to return to their world of chaos, believing it to be the true reality. Epilogue: A world worth fighting for. As President Harris delivered her 2026 State of the Union address, her words resonated across the globe. We are not defined by the shadows of what could have been. We are defined by the choices we make, by the hope we carry, and by the courage to build a better world. In the crowd, Isaac and Lila watched, knowing the stakes. The battle for this universe was far from over, but for the first time, they believed it was a fight they could win. Because in this world, hope had a chance to thrive, and it was worth everything. This thrilling story is to be continued. If you enjoy the story, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel so you get a notification when the second part of the story is released soon.